Right, who wants to go first?
I'm going to go first this week.
Okay.
I am going to preface this by saying Barry sent it to me.
He can't be here in person, so he sent his rubbish contribution
can
for you
say
to deliver.
no.
I can say no, but actually we had a little misunderstanding. Now I know what he's talking about. I have seen this and I think it's quite interesting.
Okay, is it as interesting as your last go?
Best thing I can do is show it to you.
Okay.
Where are you reaching? Oh.
Heard this is
It's
a
been
thing.
perfect. We
Take
don't
some
do
roll-ups,
perfect, guys.
ice cream, fold it up, eat it.
They don't do food.
Love fruit roll-ups, love ice cream. So
What is that?
kind of common name.
Fruit roll up.
Roll it out.
Fruit roll-up? What are those?
Scoop it
Fruit
on
leather?
Yeah.
When it crisps up.
So it's frozen fruit
I
leather
love ice cream.
with a creamy centre. And then do you reckon chewy? Like, it sounds like it's got a chewy end still.
I think it probably warms up in your mouth and then gets chewy again, right?
Yeah, so the ice cream instantly changes the texture, it turns it crunchy.
But then you're...
Then as it warms back up,
Yeah.
as it goes into your body.
2, 1. Stop it. That's the best thing that's ever happened. No way.
The best thing that's ever,
No
the best
way.
thing that's ever happened.
These are guys.
That's so
these
awesome.
are guys that throw.
I've
ball.
seen I've seen some pretty impressive things they've done.
So this is absolutely taken TikTok by storm. Loads of people are trying up different flavors of the fruit roll up, different flavors of the ice cream. What flavor
Trying to make
combination?
it foodie for this format. Listen
I mean, it's like
to
an
it.
ice cream sandwich. Yes, you can change the cookies in the ice cream, and
Yeah.
they're brilliant.
Yeah, you
Can we
guys-
try it?
yeah.
I'm not interested in the flavours. I like the snap.
Go, let's do it.
Yeah.
You guys
pair
are
us.
so pretentious.
No.
Well, you just can't enjoy something fun for the sake of it being fun. Oh, it has to be really
No.
funny.
You're just
No.
angry that Barry left you with this.
I'm not.
No, I want to try it, and I think
Yeah.
it sounds cool. But you trying to justify it by being like, oh, and you can mix up the fruit roll-ups and even mix up the ice cream.
Exactly. Make
Can
your
you?
own combination. Make it unique.
Whack it out.
I think that's a given.
Right. Fruit roll-ups.
What flavours you got? Oh, can we mix up the flavours, Jay?
I think they're already mixed.
And you can probably mix up the ice cream.
Are these rainbow roll-ups?
How many ice cream flavours you brought?
1. Vanilla.
You've got a big enough pan there.
So we're doing one each, right?
Yeah. We've made these. We've made these on the channel years ago.
Mine's fruit flavoured.
I think they're all just generic.
Generic fruit flavoured.
So we're not mixing up
Couldn't
the
have
flavours.
splurged on a
We're not
few
mixing up the flavours. No, we're going to give it one go.
The logic of a fruit leather or fruit roll-up is good because it's 100% fruit reduced down into a fun snack for kids.
Yeah, but these aren't.
These don't look like they're 100% fruit. No.
Done some reading up. There is.
Oh, you've researched this as well.
Yeah, I've researched
Oh, good
this.
we did that.
So there is an ideal
Beer float.
beer float. Nice creamy pint.
Can you just do it for us?
Sure.
Please.
Yours hasn't stuck to that.
Chef, serve me. I'm going for a ravioli. I'm going to push it down.
3, 2, 1.
Ebbers is going in. Yeah. Cheers.
And then it goes through. That is food science happening right there in real time.
Oh, God. That's so sweet.
I quite like the creamy vanilla centre, but I actually think you should just put your roll-ups in the freezer. Just on their own, they would be lovely. That snap. There's also fun things to be taken from that. The science of sugar. And I think there's some fun things you could actually develop into quite fun things. Like sugar work and chocolate work are very precise temperatures, but taking sugar to sub-zero
That quickly.
because they're so thin. They're fun. I wonder if you could do it though with your homemade DIY version. So if people wanted to make their own fruit roll-ups, there's loads of videos out there. We've got one. If you make it, it takes a while, ideally in a very low oven or a dehydrator. But fruit puree, rolled it out, cut it. They're good fun. I wonder if that would work.
I'm going to say to get your fruit leather that thin at home, you need some form of stabiliser.
This is what happens when you let chef in onto something fun.
I'm interested.
I
in
know,
it,
the
though.
chefs take it too far, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they're in their fancy jackets.
Cool.
Well, thank you, Barry.
Thanks, Barry.
Thank you, Barry.
Thank you, Barry. Thank you, Jamie. Sorry, I'll get rid of that.
Jay. Right.
Who next?
Me. Can we all close our eyes? I won't. Obviously. And you might want to move back a bit.
God, he's going to lie on the table.
It's just like Sex in the City sushi.
Close your eyes. Close your eyes.
Closed.
If he comes out with a fruit winder around his...
Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Close your eyes.
Oh my goodness, you are such a loose cannon.
What is your problem?
Oh, they slipped.
You could have skewered one of us.
Kebabs.
There was a risk. No. Skewers in general. all shapes and sizes. I think we've got 5 different types. Me and Ebbers went off on a little pilgrimage to find some skewered meat in London, see it online. And we discovered some fantastic cuisines from around the world, all within 10 minutes of the studio.
Where did the idea, like when did you come across something that you went, skewered meat, that would be a good thing to explore?
And we were talking about summer barbecue. We were like, what is a good subject for the food newsletter? And we're like, barbecues, but it's too wide. Barbecue's too wide. Yeah. How do we hone it in on a single thing? And we thought, how about things on sticks are always more fun?
Yeah. I take it there's a logic to the fact that this one's square, that one's like wider and flatter, smaller. Does it impact?
If you're going to cook something on a barbecue or under a grill over an open charcoal, you want something that will hold the food on it correctly. So we've got a thick skewer here, traditionally used for Sikh kebabs, Indian Pakistani cuisine. It's a minced skewer like a kofta, but heavily spiced. You want it to cook from the outside and the inside, so the thick rod takes the heat from traditionally a tandoor, where it's sitting like that in the coal, up the middle of the skewer. So you get to cook inside and outside. So you can get a nice pink, semi-pink, juicy, meaty texture without it drying out. Whereas a flat skewer...
Wow, we're getting a proper run through. This is great.
Yeah, this might take a while. More traditionally used in Turkish cuisine or Middle Eastern, where their kebabs are flatter and wider and they're cooked horizontally between bars over charcoal.
Feels like we should, be eating something to really understand the power of the skewer.
I just don't really know how that's going to work.
Yeah, I can't.
I can show you a few ways.
Yeah. Right, should we, shall I show you something?
Yes, please.
Yeah. All right.
Whoa. Nice.
There we go.
Oh, the smell.
And
Look
the
at the
proper
bread. I love the bread.
pebble bread.
Lavash bread.
Lavash style, kind of a flat bread. Traditionally, you eat this with a naan, but...
So warm.
So I'll take that. Take a bit of bread each, guys.
Nice.
And then you're gonna...
Watch this, Techers, watch this.
Oh, no.
Oh, you're gonna... Oh, you show. You get the big one, Jay.
That's the Techers, is it?
You've ripped your bread.
I ripped my bread.
You've ripped your bread.
Could do with a bit of yogurt.
Oh, no, I don't think you need it. These are so juicy.
Cheers, boys.
A good fatty cut of meat, and then just excellent seasoning. And this has got a lot of fresh herbs to it as well, which is nice.
This is a classic Sikh kebab. North Indian, Pakistan. It's the same region in food terms. It's Punjabi. It's minced, traditionally mutton or goat. This is lamb shoulder and belly. Homemade spices mix. Kebab masala, I've called it. It's like a garam masala, but tuned to this kebab specifically. Loads of onion, garlic, ginger, coriander, and mint. And a lot. Like a big
The flecks of herbs
bunch,
that
yeah.
just makes it so fresh, as well as the fatty spice.
So cook them under the grill. They rest on a baking tray or roasting tray, either side. Cook them for a few minutes. Turn it over, turn it over, turn it over. And because they're flat-sided, they don't spin.
They don't spin.
And then I've taken it out and given it a bit of cushy bear.
The blowtorch special.
The blowtorch special.
Special. What tips have you got for people cooking kebabs at home?
First of all, pick what you want to cook and then find the skewer to go with it. So a minced kebab like this, you want to go flat and wide or long and thick. You want small things that cook very quickly. You want a thinner skewer because you don't need the heat to go through the center. Wood, can burn, need to soak them first, or flat profiled thin skewer like this. Better for individual portions like a
Chicken shish.
chicken shish or a Chinese cumin dusted lamb skewer.
And even the wooden ones, you've got the choice of perfectly round, toothpick or slightly flatter, so you've got stuff that will stick better to it.
In terms of the making, everything in a bowl with the mince, and you just form it together, bit of oil.
So with this, we grind a specific blend of lamb.
Okay.
So this is shoulder and belly to get the right fat percentage. It goes into everything that's been hand chopped or put through a food processor, and then you put it into a kitchen mixer and you beat it.
Okay.
By adding the salt and beating it, you're giving that little sausage texture and bounce to it. Helps become tacky, so when it goes down the skewer, it sticks. It's not mincy, it doesn't fall off.
There's no marinade.
Oh no, this kind of skewer, because you're beating it and you're grinding it, that's doing all the hard work for you. There's no tenderization needed.
Could I have a refill, please? Come on, be on my wavelength.
Yeah, you can't eat a kebab without a beer.
Still fingering it.
I've picked an online creator that I'm loving at the moment, unbelievable, and I mean lots of people have seen them, but I'm not sure that all of you have, so I wanted to share it with you.
The Village Cooking Channel.
They are the Village Cooking Channel. This channel is run by a family in South India, so literally everyone from the brothers, sisters, mum, dad, grandfather, they cook these huge dishes using traditional methods and equipment, and it is fascinating to watch The volumes are insane, and we're going to have a look at their mutton biryani. The channel has 21 million subscribers. This video has 33 million views, but their latest video has 194 million views. So they speak Tamil. The place where they live is in South India, in Tamil Nadu, and they sit in fields and they just prep this huge volume of food. They then feed the entire village. They take food to old people's homes and orphanages, and they make donations using the profits from the channel to some community projects as well.
I think what it does, it epitomises what food and cooking can do, and that's bring communities together. We've always done it with a physical community, but in a virtual space, YouTube and online, whereas this is whole communities gathering around very traditional dishes.
Well, what's fascinating is the way that not only the sort of techniques that they're akin to within their culture, but also the techniques that they have to use to cook that volume of food. It's fascinating. It's so good. So that's the ghee, and look at that huge amount of oil going into that pan.
Coconut oil, yeah.
And then they just fry the spices, and it's on like such a volume. It's so great.
That's imagine the smell of that.
Yeah.
Right, that's the ash on top.
Yeah, they've got the hot ashes from the fire, put it on top, so you're getting heat from the top and the bottom, so it cooks evenly.
If I fast forward to when they reveal what the rice looks like, it's absolutely perfectly cooked. When they stir through it, you've got hot ash on the top. Look at that! I can't do that in a single pan! Kush and I were talking about this, that wouldn't it be fascinating to cook a large volume, like everyone at Sorted, so you've got 20 plus people using similar methods, like to cook volume, and we film it and we just see what it's like using the same similar methods that they
we spend our lives trying to find technology that will help us do that.
I know, we review pretty much on a weekly basis.
Just take all of that technology away and just go, here is the biggest pan you've ever seen. Cook up dinner for 30 people, please.
Turns out you just need to know what you're doing.
The idea of watching that is mesmerising because you've got some people who know what they're doing and they're feeding many. I would love for us just to go into a situation where there are people who know what they're doing and we just help.
They only started their channel in 2018.
Oh, that must suck for you guys.
I wonder what they're...
You got a job here.
I know.
We'll link to all of the things that we're talking about in the description as well, so you can check them out as well, but highly recommend giving them a subscribe and watch because it's just fascinating.
It comes back to that whole thing about like food being life, like and what's the point of
it's a
being alive? And yeah, exactly. Everyone has to eat. And you can make it as difficult and as complicated as you want, but at the end of the day, everyone has to eat. If you can find a way of democratising that and actually have the time to get involved and help people and create good food, I think that's wonderful.
Who's next?
Well, on the topic of democratising and levelling food, I have an idea. The thing I wanted to share is something that I have recently finished reading and is one of those things I think perhaps everyone should read because it is just fascinating. It's a book called Ravenous by Henry Dimbleby. And in true audiobook form, I'm going to read you like the paragraph of the blurb because I think that just kind of sets the tone.
Okay, wait.
Should we close our eyes?
On tube.
Crying.
And you have to say it like Henry. I don't know what he sounds like.
You may not be aware of this, not consciously at least, but you do not control what you eat. Every mouthful of food you take is informed by the subtle tweaking and nudging of a vast, complex global system, one so intimately woven into everyday life that you hardly even know it's there. The food system is no longer simply a means of sustenance. It's one of the most successful, most innovative, and most destructive industries on Earth. It sustains us, but it is also killing us. Ravenous takes us behind the scenes to reveal the mechanisms that act together to shape the modern diet and therefore the world. It explains not just why the food system is leading us into disaster, but more positively, what can be done about it. It's deep, right? We don't normally bring deep to the table, but this is...
a nice light read.
I think when we're telling stories, we do a bit of everything. We also look at the traditional, the scratch cooking, and kind of the anatomy of what our diet is, but we're not experts, we never have been. But it's a really interesting, fascinating book, and it's split into like our bodies, our planet, and then our future, so 3 sections. So first, it's all about our bodies, and it's all about diet and nutrition and how our bodies react to the kind of foods that we're fed. Then it looks at more the environment and the climate and how we grow the food. And then lastly is a lot more positive about some of the suggestions that Henry and his whole team that did the National Food Strategy have kind of made to perhaps changes for the future. It's not an easy read because it's quite fact and data heavy, but it just makes you think twice.
Well, if you think 2 of those 3 things, one, the time is not now, it's in the future, and the other 2, is what we're putting in our bodies healthy and good, and is it grown properly and sustainable? The broad answer to both of those things are no and no.
And how much control do we have of either one of those, which is
not much. Ever stays apocalyptic.
So do you think from the strategy, from the book, anything will change?
I think it has to, because we literally haven't got enough harvests or planets left to carry on at the same pace. But he's also really positive about it in the sense that there's been so many of these big changes over the last few decades or centuries that humans have adapted to anyway.
Does that change need to come from like us as individuals and the choices that we make, or does the change need to come from the big, like the food industry that then presents the choices to us that we can choose from?
Yeah, so he tackles both of those in the book, and I think the answer is both, because the food industry pretty much make food to feed the junk food cycle of what we want and what we crave. It's just an eye-opener. And whether you read it or listen to it, it is on audiobook. You can literally listen to Henry read it for you if audiobook.
I thought you did a good job.
But I urge people to read it. It's fun.
Where is the book, Evans?
I was going to bring the book in, but it's such a good book. I've already lent it to someone else because I wasn't planning to sit around this table and do it. So I've already, in the spirit of upcycling, recycling, and gifting,
I've given it to a real friend.
Correct.
The library just gave it back.
No, but a friend of mine is reading it, and I have it here. A link to a digital copy.
Lovely visual aspect that would have been.
Yeah, well, you would have seen lots of lovely visuals, so I hope you enjoyed them. Right, anyone got anything lighter?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Last month, you read out some of the tweets that we got in.
Yes.
That people had sent us.
I love these.
This month, we asked people, what is the worst thing that you have ever eaten?
Are these edible things, like food things?
Yeah, that could go really far.
Like I tripped up and ended up with a mouthful of soil. That kind of thing's not nice.
Okay, but I know you guys don't do social that much, but the nuance isn't really there. So you just have to ask, what's the worst thing you've ever eaten? You don't then add in 12 caveats.
No, I'm asking.
That doesn't fit into a tweet. Right, here's one that the chefs might know. JP says, andouillette.
Yeah.
French tripe sausages. Yeah. Scrumptious looking sadness.
Yeah, intestines and tripe bound together, cooked and served in Lyon, awfully to a T, like
saved by large dollops of mustard.
Saved is not saved. Yeah.
Was it irony?
No. Oh, irony, fecal.
Fecal.
As in, yeah.
A lot of people said hakal, which is the Iceland's national dish, fermented shark.
You guys have tried that, right?
Yeah. We have tried that.
I think that might be the worst.
Albert said one tip for the hakal: do not drink fizzy water afterwards because it makes the fermented shark taste even worse. Friendly non-binary dungeon mum, great name.
Great name.
Said pork schnitzel from the bargain bin at a grocery store in my hometown. Both me and my husband got food poisoning. Well, I had Campylobacter poisoning. I blamed you because it was the funniest thing to do. I don't think it was you.
Well, no, because every one of us in the studio did the same thing, and you were the only one that suffered, so it must have been something else.
But that was like 3 weeks of just constantly emptying.
And that's a wrap. Thanks, Jay.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
But I do think there's the link. For something to be as extreme as the worst thing you've ever eaten, not only has it got to taste bad, but there's also got to be an event or something that happened to lodge that in your memory.
Yeah.
When I was 10, I was mowing the lawn in my parents' garden, and I went over a divot, and the handle smacked me in the jaw and dislocated my jaw. So I had to go to hospital, and they clicked it back in. But because I couldn't chew, I lived off of these milkshake things that I was drinking with like all the, full list of nutrients in. And I drank so many that I was violently sick. And now I'll be like sat next to someone on the tube and they'll open it and I will physically gag at just the smell and being taken back to that moment.
The memory recall
and
of it.
Therefore, I would actually throw that in as my option as the worst thing because I've got such a negative connection with it now.
The worst thing I've ever eaten. I think it is the surströmming. I really struggle, and having done it both in this studio and another television studio with, big cameras and grown-up people when I was much younger and before I had really the confidence of just rolling with the punches, I grinned and bared it.
It's smell
And it repeated
and
on
taste.
me for so long. Whereas we've done it in the studio, I was just like, I'm out.
It's that brutal combination of the worst smell you've ever smelled.
Yeah.
Okay, ever heard of fish pie?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Ever heard of fisherman's pie?
Just lots of fish in.
No, it's all the stuff that you couldn't sell at market, so the
Oh,
fishermen
okay.
might take home. My school served the whole school, then one caterer, fisherman's pie.
Okay.
2 weeks later, I got back to school
Oh wow.
and told my maths teacher, who was also the head of one house, that I'd been sick. And as soon as I said it, he tensed up and got really nervous because 6 other students in the school had the same symptoms. The one caterer had put out one pie that had sent 6 of us 2 weeks off. Hallucinating, flop sweat, fecal Jackson Pollocks. It was I told my dad, who's in the food industry, what I'd eaten, obviously, and he was like, yeah, it's the little prawns. Had tiny little prawns in it. He's like, yeah, those. And apparently it was.
Wow.
Yeah. Not the big chunks of fish, not all the potatoes, not the boiled eggs, tiny little prawns that they've thrown as to
You
make it
only need
luxury.
a tiny pinprick
Yeah,
of minging bacteria.
yeah.
In a wonderful segue from the worst things we've ever eaten, I've baked you all something.
So we're not here for 2 weeks.
Surprise!
Way!
So, Mike, what are these?
Well, Kush knows because these are from the dough course that Kush and I came up with. Kush obviously did all the recipes, but we basically just went, okay, when it comes to food that you cook to impress, what types of things do you cook and do I cook? And I've always struggled with cinnamon buns. I've made them. They've always been semi-good and I've been sort of impressed with them, but never been able to make sort of bakery quality.
So I got you past the semi.
You got me past the semi.
And look at the result.
Pizza dough, burger buns, and focaccia. I used the course for the first time for cinnamon buns, and this is my first attempt on how they turned out. So
They
grab
look
one.
monstrous.
They're massive.
I picked the wrong
I mean,
one.
I'm
can't finish
really
this.
happy with the dough.
Even spread. Oh, sorry, cheers.
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 Oh, wow.
Generous on the cinnamon.
Good roll, Mike. Good. Even buttering and colouring.
A good bake, a good rise.
But can you believe I baked those? That's the thing that I still can't get my head round.
Not on your first attempt, but you didn't have any cameras on you.
No.
No, well that's the difference. So I know you've made cinnamon buns before. How different was this technique to what you've done previously?
Just a couple of key things. So the filling, you beat the butter, sugar and cinnamon together so that it's a really smooth, almost foamy, like buttercream, airy mixture. I didn't do that normally. It was
Which is
just
why you get the
sprinkle.
even spread.
Why you get the even spread. You prove it overnight for like at least 12 hours and therefore all of that butter and all that cinnamon seeps into the dough and it just tastes of flavour throughout.
You're the king of the overnight prove
Yeah,
or
it
prep
makes such
or
a
a poolish
difference.
or something that means you've actually just less effort but let the yeast do its work.
Yeah.
Without making it sound like an almighty plug. But what's amazing about that course is you have Kush and he is showing you super clearly. So here's what you need to do, I'm going to tell you, and then you watch it happen and then you see all the close-ups. So all those nuances and the subtleties of the right technique, I mean, you do an amazing job of explaining it, but then visually you can see it. And so you watch it and they go, now I know exactly what I need to do.
I think with baking, a lot of it is time, technique, but the visuals. And I think in the course we say, if it doesn't look like this, give it another half an hour.
Yep.
If it does this when you poke it, it's ready. That's how I learned. And it generally works. We've got some great results on the first people doing it.
And I think that course, they're more project cooked. They're not the Sidekick cook 20, 30-minute meals
No.
midweek. They are project cooks where you're just like, I want to nail, for the first time ever, I want to get this right.
Lovely stuff.
Great.
Really nice.
Nice one, guys.
Oh, what a great month May was.
May was an excellent month.
I have a funny feeling, looking at our calendars, June's going to be good too.
If we can find time to film the June one and the July one,
It gets busy
we'll
from
be
here on
very,
in.
very lucky.
But you've got some very exciting stuff coming your way.
Thank you for watching. Bye.
Yay!